Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's What's Up Wednesday interview series. Today, I'm joined by Tim Fitzpatrick. He's the president of Rialto Marketing, and he's going to be going over several resources, tips, and tricks and things like that that you can use throughout the childcare industry to market your business, especially in times of low enrollment with the pandemic and things like that. So, hey, Tim, welcome and thanks for joining today.
Milena, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. So kick us off today, just briefly explaining your role with Rialto and kind of who you all are and your goals.
Sure. So I'm the president. I started the company back in 2013. We primarily, we work with small business owners, and here's what we find. So many business owners are just battling information overload when it comes to marketing. It can feel really overwhelming, but we believe marketing shouldn't be difficult. You need the right plan. And
Right.
So we help our clients create, implement, and manage a marketing plan to communicate the right message to the right people. That's what marketing is all about. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it is so easy to just overcomplicate it. So our goal is to get out there and help people make marketing simple.
Make that plan and be a success. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll vouch for you. You've been helpful to us too. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
So like you said, it can be complicated. So generally speaking, essentially, why is marketing a business so important, especially to those in the childcare industry now?
In my opinion, and I am biased, obviously.
Me too.
I mean, if you don't have marketing bringing in the case of, the providers that you work with, if you don't have marketing that is bringing in new families that are then becoming customers, then you can have the best location, the best staff, the best program, and none of it's really going to matter because there's not going to be anybody to enroll in it. So marketing it's absolutely essential for the success of any business. How deep you go, how complex you go with your marketing is going to depend. I mean, there are so many different marketing channels, and there are so many tactics within those channels. That's why so many people just get that information overload and feeling of overwhelm.
It's a lot.
But you don't have to be everywhere to have a really successful business. There's very successful businesses that work off of 100% referral, and they're totally happy to do that. In the case of providers, the sky is not necessarily the limit, because if you're at max enrollment, unless you find another facility, you're capped. I mean, what else can you do? You have an enrollment cap. So
you're full. Yeah.
Yeah, you're full. Right. So I think in the provider space, where you want to get is, I'm full and I have a wait list. And every time somebody leaves, all I need to do is just grab somebody up from the wait list.
Right.
That, I think, is the ideal place to be from a provider standpoint, unless you want to just continually get a bigger facility. But I mean, at some point, I think you do reach a limit where it's just not sustainable at a large level.
Huge. Yeah. Depending on staffing and other budget, obviously within that. Yeah. Kind of staying stable and being comfortable with that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the growth on the provider level is not necessarily continually growing a larger and larger facility. It's expanding to additional locations.
Sure. Yeah, that's great kind of overview. So what are some ways the industry can be doing that they may not have thought of at this point prior to it all when it comes to marketing, doing what they're doing now?
So we're gonna focus on very fundamental things, because so many people just skip the fundamentals. They're easy to breeze over. So let's stick with those and keep this simple, because I think the less complex we can make things, the much higher likelihood of success there's going to be. So the first thing that I would say is key to successful marketing is understanding your ideal clients. Those families that are coming in, you need to understand who they are, where are they coming from, what's important to them, what do they look for in a provider. You have to understand that, because if you don't, everything from a marketing standpoint, and frankly from a business standpoint, I mean, you make business choices. You should be making business choices based on them and what's important to them.
Right.
And so that's the first critical element, if you do not understand your ideal customers, then you need to take some time to do that. And there's some really easy ways to do that. I mean, parents are dropping in, picking up their kids, dropping them off every single day. You need to hone in on one. My guess is not every family that is currently coming to your location is ideal. Some of them are hard to work with.
Oh, absolutely.
Difficult, right? They complain about everything and anything. Those are not ideal clients. You need to pinpoint those parents they are just easy to work with. They love you. They want to refer people to you. Identify those parents and talk to them.
Right.
Like, what do you love about our facility? Why do you come here? Why did you choose us in the beginning? You ask those types of questions to really get into their head and understand them, because when you can get into their head and speak their language, you can use that in your marketing, because your marketing message should not be in your words. It should be in their words.
Right. Yeah, that's huge.
Super important. And then once you understand that, then there's all kinds of things you can do from a marketing standpoint with that information. I think the other thing that is really important, I'm going to touch on a couple other things here.
Yeah, go for it.
The other thing is providing an absolutely amazing experience the whole way through. Okay. Referral and word of mouth are huge for providers. They're huge for every business. Parents hang out with other parents. If they love it, they're going to naturally want to refer you.
Right. People talk. Absolutely.
Yeah. People talk, there's people in moms groups and parent groups, and, their kids are in activities together. I mean, parents congregate together. They talk. If you just provide a knockout experience from enrollment, pre-enrollment, even when they initially show interest, from then all the way through deciding to work with you and then dropping their kids off each and every day, you need to exceed expectations in any way, shape, or form. How do you do that? Goes back to what we just touched on. You got to talk to them. Like, what could we do better that we're not doing? Or what else could we do more of that you absolutely love? Hone in on those things and do more of it. Because if you don't provide an exceptional experience, it's going to be really hard to get those referrals and that word of mouth.
Right.
So the last thing that I will say, before we jumped on, I just poked around some provider websites. Okay. Yeah. Most of them say the same types of things.
Sure.
They don't really differentiate between one another. And when you're pulling from a very set geographic area, if parents go from one website to another and they can remove the logo and they have no idea who the company is, there is a lack of differentiation.
Right. That context needs to,
yes.
Right.
And so here's one of the things that I did. And just to give your providers an example of how you could do this. I went on to a provider's website, just looked and saw what they were saying. And then I looked at their Google reviews. This particular provider had about 35 Google reviews. The messaging that was on their site did not relate in any way, shape, or form to what was being said in those reviews.
Wow.
What were parents talking about in the reviews? They were talking about how they felt like it was safe, right? They were comfortable dropping their kids off there. Most of it all related in that realm. But then there was one review where the woman said, "They treat my child as if it were their own." That right there is in that same realm, but that is in their words. Like, your message at the top of that website should be, "We'll treat your kids as if they were our own."
Right. Yeah. Use that. Absolutely. Use
that. And that's an example of taking their words and using it in their marketing. Because if all your competitors are talking about, well, we've got a great learning experience and this and that, to me, that's table stakes. Like, parents expect that. If you don't have that, you're not going anywhere. There's other things that really are truly important to them where they're making their buying decisions. That's the kind of stuff that you need to hone in on. And that information is in reviews. It's all right there. It's in reviews, and it's in the conversations that you have with the parents that are coming.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Those are huge tips and tools for them to kind of get started with. So I guess speaking from within the course of the pandemic, if they close, they're trying to increase enrollment. Do you suggest they start with a website? Is it a Facebook page, or is it just referrals, kind of gathering up those troops and recruiting from people you already know?
There are a few ways you can do this. In my opinion, you have to have a website. I mean, they're going online. So even if, let's say, even if you're a business 100% referral, most people are not going to just pick up the phone or take your email and reach out to you.
Trust that,
they are
right.
going to do some digging. And if they go and they can't even find you online, that's not sending warm and fuzzy feelings. So
that's a red flag. Yeah.
I think you must have a website, and it must be professional.
Yep.
The other thing that is super easy, it is free, is setting up a Google My Business profile.
True.
Your Google My Business profile, it doesn't cost you any money. Optimize it, because guess what? Once you have a Google My Business profile, now you can start to get reviews on Google. And parents are making buying decisions on reviews.
Sure.
And Google is one of the first places they're going.
Absolutely.
So start there. Build up your review. If you don't have any reviews, you want to get those built up. So I think websites, Google My Business, really important for providers. And then there are a couple other things that I think are really low-hanging fruit. We talked about word of mouth and referrals being really important. Do you have any type of established referral program? You know, I don't know. Some people feel like I shouldn't have to incentivize for referrals, but you know what? The reality is incentives do push a lot of people over the edge. I think double-sided referral programs tend to work very well. So when I say double-sided, what I mean is, hey, if you refer a friend, we'll give you $100 off next month's tuition, and we'll give them $100 off their first month's tuition.
Yeah.
Right. Those types of programs seem to work really well. You'll have to test it. But if you choose to put in a formalized referral program, then you need to talk about it all over the place.
Right. Take what works and use that.
That reminds parents, put it on your invoices each and every month. It's in point of display at check-in, check-out.
Yeah, make them aware. Right.
Yeah, make them aware. And because in marketing, we talk about the marketing rule of 7. It takes at least 7 impressions of your brand, your message, for things to start registering. So keep that consistent. Put it out wherever you can. Put it in your email signatures.
Sure.
Those types of things. There's all kinds of places you can put it. But in incentivizing for referrals, personally, I think it's a good thing to do, especially from a provider standpoint.
Agreed.
So it costs you a couple $100s to get a family. Look at, well, one, does the average family have one child or multiple? Sure. So the lifetime value of a family, my guess, is pretty long if you're doing what you should be, and you keep them and they're happy. They're, unless they move, when they have another child, they're going to go there. They're going to go there. So there's a really strong lifetime value of a family there, and $100, whatever it is. I don't really, you guys need to look at your numbers to determine that. But whatever that is, my guess is it's a small fraction of what it would cost you to get them through other marketing channels.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess speaking on budget, for those that have not crossed that boundary, haven't even kind of ventured into that realm, but they are interested in doing so, what is kind of a good starting budget that they can be aware of and plan for regarding marketing that business? Yeah,
this is one of those questions where I'll give you a rule of thumb, but then I'm going to say it depends. So
sure.
in marketing, the numbers that I see thrown around are anywhere between 5 to 10% of revenue.
Okay.
Should go back into marketing. Now, it depends, because there are 2 things that I think are really important that are going to determine what you choose to invest in your marketing. Okay. One of those is your profit margins. The more profitable you are, the more money you can certainly afford to invest in marketing.
Sure.
That's one. The other variable is, what are your goals? If you have lofty goals, if you need to double enrollment, well, then you're probably going to have to invest a bit more in your marketing, right? But if you're at a place where you're full and all you want to do is just build up your wait list, well, then you may not have to market as much. So those two things are really going to determine what you need to invest. But if you take that threshold, 5-10%, some companies spend a lot more. I mean, there are companies that spend way more than that because they're very profitable and they have off the charts goals. So keep those two things in mind and just know that you have to look at marketing as an investment, not an expense. If you see it as an expense, it is something that you can cut. If you see it as an investment, it's like your 401k. You're just putting money into it each month, feeding it, because over time, that's going to continue to build and build and build.
Right. Yeah, that's huge. Kind of differentiating it in that way definitely does help. So I guess if anyone is overwhelmed, they have not even reached out or started this kind of brainstorm of thought of doing marketing, if they haven't done this at all, where do you recommend they go to with questions if they want to do research or learn more about it?
Boy, there's no shortage of places. Okay. But if you have a really limited budget, SCORE can be a really great place to go. SCORE is an organization. It's funded through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. There are SCORE chapters all over the place. SCORE can be a great place to, they have workshops throughout the month. There's mentors there that can help. There's no shortage of marketing people out there like me either, to help with that kind of stuff. But there's also there's so much content online now. So you can dig deep, get all the information. If you've got the skill sets, the information is out there.
It's there, right?
If you need help, then it's a matter of finding the right provider for you to work with. What I will say is it's so important to focus on the fundamentals first because they build that foundation. So, the target market, ideal client stuff that I touched on, really important. Creating a message that is going to gain the attention and the interest of those ideal clients is the second fundamental. And then the third is you have to have a plan. It doesn't have to be some huge, complicated plan, but you have to have some type of plan of how you're going to get that message in front of those people, work that plan, and then look at what's working and what's not, and make adjustments and just keep doing it. That is critical for success, no matter what marketing channels you choose to use.
Yeah, that's huge. And if anything, if they want to learn more about Rialto specifically, they can just hop on your website and contact you through there.
Yeah, they can go to our website. That's the best place, which is Rialto. It's rialtomarketing.com. So that's RIALTO marketing.com. If you click under resources, we have a ton of different marketing resources there. We have a blog, we've got a podcast. There's some guides there from a marketing standpoint. So there's all kinds of free resources there. If, they're stuck, they're just not quite sure what that next step should be for them based on where they are and where they want to go, there's a get a free consult link button all over our website. Just click on it, fill out the form, and I'd be happy to chat with them and just give them some clarity on, hey, based on where you are, these are the next step that you should take to start getting to where you want to go.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here. I'll kind of leave it open to you for any final thoughts, just feedback or updates regarding Rialto in general, or just to the Early Childcare Network regarding marketing.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going to sound like a broken record. See marketing as an investment, feed it consistently. Don't feel like you have to do everything. Start where you can and just do it consistently. And then test things. What's working, what's not. And then you can make those course corrections. It's those course corrections over time that make all the difference in the world. There's too many people that I come across who are doing marketing, but they don't know whether they're getting a return. They don't know what's working. And that happens because they don't have a plan and they're not tracking. They
don't have results. Yeah.
You need to determine metrics that you can use to measure whether what you're doing is working or whether it's not.
Growth at all, right?
Once you have those things in place and you just do that consistently and you track it, you'll know what's working for you. You'll know what's not. And it's easy. And again, this doesn't have to be difficult. Start with like, how many new parent inquiries are you getting each month? Where are those inquiries coming from? And then how many of those inquiries then convert to customer?
Yep. Right.
That's a super easy place to start. You'll know how many new intros you're getting each month. You'll know when you ask where they're coming from, that'll tell you what marketing you're doing is working. Were they referred? Was it part of your referral program? Did they find you online? Right. And then conversions, right? How many of those people that were referred that came in ended up becoming customers tells you how many people you need as an intro to then become a paying customer.
Right.
And then if you know that information, now you know, okay, great. We need 5 new families, 5 new kids. And it takes us two intros to get a new kid coming in. Well, we need 10 intros.
Right.
Over X amount of period of time to get those 5 families.
Get those 5. Right.
But most people you
set
ask,
those metrics and do that math. Yeah.
Most people you ask don't know those numbers well enough to be able to say that. You just need to start tracking it, and then you'll have the information that you need to make good decisions.
Yeah, like you said, start small, kind of get that fundamentals down. It doesn't have to be huge. Like that's overwhelming as it seems. Yeah, it really doesn't have to be.
No.
True. All right. Well, thank you, Tim. Appreciate it as always. We'll send everyone to your website. We'll link that down in the details. But absolutely appreciate your time.
Cool.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Melanie.